Hi, and thank you for coming to my YouTube channel. My name is Ryan Keys, as you can see in the banner above. I am getting ready to go to work, but I wanted to go over a couple things about this topic, twin flame. I get a lot of questions, I get a lot of input, and I myself have been investigating this whole concept for a little bit of time. Now, what is a twin flame? When you do a lot of research, there's a lot of things about twin flames that people aren't necessarily discussing in a manner in which you understand. Everything is kind of vague. When you YouTube search twin flame, you either get a lot of people talking about this magical mystique of we reunited and we're floating on a cloud and everything is flamey and fantastic. I'm going to come from a concept from near death, from seeing the other side, from venturing over and going into that cloud atlas state. If you haven't seen that movie, I suggest you see it. Also, the other movie that will be pertinent to this topic and any near-death topic that I talk about is What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams. So the twin flame phenomenon has increased. I've been giving love advice even before going into healthcare for 20 years. I worked for Match.com, eHarmony, AOL Love, Spark, American Singles, Black Singles, J-Date, you name it. I was a membership matchmaker at Together. I have written love advice for multiple magazines and publications. I have a love advice book that I'm working with a publisher right now on. So I know a little bit about love. I might not exercise it on my own self, but I do know a lot about from a psychological and psychology perspective, looking in and evaluation and understanding people and being an intuitive reader. So the concept of twin flames. What is a twin flame, Ryan, and why do we need a twin flame? Well, first let's look at the dynamic of soulmate. A soulmate can be your father, your mother, your brother, anybody on the path that actually will either enhance your life or change your life in a chaotic way. Now, a soulmate is a transition person. It is a person where you encounter them, they have a piece of you, you receive that piece from them, and you give that piece of them back to them. You kind of have a completion factor. You're experiencing a coming together, a oneness. It's not for the long duration necessarily. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. A soulmate, if it's your parent or something like that. You know, I believe a soulmate could even be your dog. My dog, for instance, a friend of mine who's an intuitive psychic said that my dog took my cancer. My dog is dying of cancer in the same spots where I had it. So I tend to believe that. So a soulmate isn't necessarily defined by our own individual makeup. When you say soulmate, everybody gravitates to love and the light and the wonderful dynamic of romance. Soulmates don't necessarily have to be that. A soulmate could be your boss. Now, moving into the concept of twin flames, what is a twin flame? A twin flame, by all esoteric standards and research from ancient literature, would be where a soul is one, and then that soul splits and to experience life as the female and the male. The thing about twin flames is going to be that a twin flame is going to be the toughest encounter, the toughest relationship you will ever dream to undertake. But at the same time, the most beneficial, the most growth will happen in your life during the period of meeting with a twin flame. That twin flame is in essence a mirror of who you are. And being a mirror to yourself, well, okay, everybody strip naked, stand on a scale in front of a mirror and look at yourself. Now, are you going to find pieces of yourself that you don't like? Yeah. Now that's what the twin flame is. You're going to be looking at yourself naked, seeing yourself in the mirror, which is your twin flame, and they're representative of all the things that you're weak and that you don't like, and vice versa. So they're also going to mirror your strength. It's going to be a physical process. It's going to be a process that's going to involve a lot of ebb and flow of health, of frustration, of limitation. It's not something that works out very easily in the beginning. I think that in this whole concept of twin flames running, I don't agree with that. Now, and why don't I agree with the twin flames running? Because I don't think you can run. Call me crazy, but I just view that the spiritual and the soulful side of where I saw in the near-death experience isn't something you can really run from. Like, you can't hide from God, right? You can go in the deepest, darkest cave. It's not gonna matter. So you're not running. What you're doing is you're exhibiting fear. You're exhibiting the fear of confronting yourself. You're exhibiting the fear of acknowledging that this might be wrong with you. So to categorize it as the twin flame is running, I think is only a cop-out. I think it gives people the ability to try to shirk the responsibility of dealing with it, honestly. I've helped thousands of people with love advice, and I would never encourage someone to believe that their twin flame is a runner. They are just scared. They are just unable to be at the same rate or pace that you are, and the awareness factor. So, and that's being human. And I would probably say the majority of what people would say are a runner would be the man. And because men have a certain level of responsibility to hold up this image that the world has defined, and that image is not healthy. So the roles we've been playing and that we've been nurtured with on what a man is or what a woman is have all kind of lended to that ideology that would create the concept of running. But we have to unravel those protocols. We have to unravel those class levels. We have to unravel the concept that a woman is here and a man is here. A woman is this and this, and a man does this, and he's the lion roaming the plains, and he's the protector. We have to unravel all of that, because that's the physical, that's the flesh, and those are the things that we've been nurtured with. If we look deeper into our heart and our soul, you're not going to find that those areas are defined by the same ideas that are physical. A soul isn't bound by a body. A soul doesn't run. A soul is dealing with things as it comes. A soul is understanding. And I think we underestimate the soul. We underestimate our own internal self. We have to recondition ourselves. We have to open ourselves up to new ideas. We have to open up ourselves in general so that we can receive love. So it's not about running. So even Louise L. Hay and neurolinguistic programming, they put a lot of emphasis on the word choices that you use for certain ideas. And to use the word running is wrong, because it's going to establish not only the condition, but an excuse. So as you are a twin flame, when you encounter your twin flame, you're going to have things happen. And you're not going to be with them like this on day one, making out and in the sack and everything's going to be like magic. No, it's not a Disney movie, trust me. You're going to be like, whoa, shit. And you're going to dance like this. Like I'm here and we're dancing and it's a distance dance, right? And it closes in a little bit and then, whoa, you got to back it out. Distance dance, and then comes back in, distance dance. So it's like the ebb and flow of the tide. So now when you look at the concept of a twin flame, let's focus on it being like farming. So when you see an acre of fresh, untilled soil just covered in whatever it is, you have in your mind what that's going to look like harvested, right? But you have to lay out your lines, create your boundaries, get in there and till that dirt, take up all the rocks, the weeds, and anything else that would prevent that soil from being rich. So now you broke ground, which is like when you meet your twin flame. And that's the beginning. That's one of the major points, is meeting your twin flame. So like farming, you broke ground, right? So then you have to kind of replenish that soil, and you nurture it by putting manure in it, even though that's not. Think of it as like by nurturing it with like emotions and talking and understanding and kind of gravitating towards conversation that's going to get you closer. And that's the process of tilling the soil and bringing in these new nutrients. So, and that's a building process. And then the next process is the planting process. Now, when you plant the seed, that's your second major point. And that's where you're coming together again and you're planting that seed of desire, that seed of intention, that seed of, hey, you and I are twin flames. We acknowledge that. We're going to be together, but maybe not right now, because we got a lot of work on ourselves, but it's going to happen. So you plant that seed, and now that seed is covered up. It is sedentary. It is in hibernation, awaiting water, awaiting all the things that are going to help nurture it. So that's the other process, the downslope process of that time where you're working on your inner self as a twin flame, that you can't really come together with the other person. Now that is in essence the time where the seed sprouts up, it starts to show itself, peek through the dirt, receive sun, receive food, but that's its most vulnerable state. That's when it takes a lot of manicuring, a lot of protecting, a lot of nurturing. And that is when you're doing that for yourself. So as you meet your twin flame, you acknowledge your twin flame, you have recognized that this is your twin flame, you both have come to the idea that this is a twin flame for me. So, and then after all this nurturing and protecting it from all the pests and all these things, you get a plant that's ready to yield for harvest. The harvesting of this procession is when the twin flame energy can finally join where you've worked on your little things that you needed to work on, which some call it running, but it's not. It's internal work. It's internal. You're enhancing your internal self so that you can bring something to the table that isn't broken. So now it's time to harvest. And this is when the twin flame energy comes together and intertwines and interlaces like two threads becoming one, which becomes a stronger string, a stronger strand to the source. And that is a small bit of the procession of the twin flame energy from my concept after 20 years of giving life and love advice through all types of media and interaction. Thank you for staying with me. I gotta get to work. I gotta go care for some people. Light, love, namaste. I will see you again soon. Stay safe.